I'm Megan Blanchette with O'Reilly Media, and I'm here with Michael Chui, who is a principal at McKinsey Institute. Thanks for being with us, Michael.
Pleasure to be here.
McKinsey just released a report with some findings on open data. Can you talk to us a little bit about the report, the key findings?
Now, this report is actually a continuation of some of the research that we've been doing over several years on the economic potential of data. And here what we're talking about is what happens when data becomes more fluid, when it becomes more open, when more people are able to use it. One of the things that we discovered is that open data isn't just for government anymore. Government has been one of the leading sources of open data, but increasingly we're finding that companies and individuals, even individual consumers, can derive value from the use of open data. In fact, when we looked across 7 sectors in the economy, we found over $3 trillion of potential value could be captured on an annual basis.
Oh, and so obviously a key point of this is transparency, if you want to have open data. What industries need to be better about that?
Well, as it turns out, transparency is an important aspect of it, but when we think about transparency, we often think about it in terms of improving the accountability of institutions, and we think that's true as well. But actually what we've discovered is that when you make data more liquid, when you allow other people to use it and analyze it, you can achieve a number of different benefits. A company, for instance, can become more efficient or be more effective through benchmarking. In fact, 30% of the value that we discovered, or the value potential we discovered, came from using benchmarking to either improve the performance of an individual in terms of healthcare, or the performance of a company in terms of procurement or operations, etc. But the other thing that we also discovered is, again, through this opening up of data, making it more liquid, that a lot of the benefits, actually over half the benefits that are available, accrue to customers or consumers. And so whether or not it's reducing the price of goods because you're able to see price transparency, or be able to improve your health care, all of those ways, or in some cases you actually get better value, right? You can actually have better products because open data allows you to figure out which products are better suited to you. For all those reasons, there's a lot of benefit that actually ends up accruing to individual consumers or customers.
And what about companies that deal with very sensitive data?
So our point of view is that not all data has to become completely open, completely 100% liquid. In fact, we talk about data being liquid across 4 different dimensions. The numbers of people or organizations who have access to it, the degree to which it's machine readable, the degree to which it costs money. Again, some data is completely free, and in fact, the degree to which it's encumbered by rights to use or reuse or analyze. And so there's actually a great deal of flexibility about how open you want data to be. Now for some data, in fact, you don't want it to be open at all. And so we're not saying that all data needs to be made completely open. But we do think that in general, we're finding more and more data, when it becomes open, actually allows more value to be captured.
You mentioned how much money companies can save doing this, which I imagine would be a big pull to getting them into this. And a big part of that would be just getting the data, right? The sheer volume of it. But there has to be more to it than that. So what are some key steps when it's, just beyond getting all of it that they can do that?
In fact, we've said this before, which is this is not like the field of dreams. You make it open and they will come. In fact, there are a lot of other things that have to happen. If you want people to use your data, you actually need a thriving ecosystem of developers. And just like if you have a software platform, if you have a data platform, you need to somehow convince people who could use your data to actually use it. So that's incredibly important. We do have to consider those concerns about privacy, about confidentiality, about intellectual property, about security. Making sure that we address those both from a technological standpoint as well as a policy standpoint is incredibly important. That's where government has a really unique role to play. Sometimes it can be the releaser of data, but it also can set the rules to make sure that the value is actually captured. And then there are a set of things that would just be helpful in terms of creating platforms so it's easy to actually access the data, creating metadata so that you know what data that you have, and then also being able to make it searchable, and having standards so it's comparable. So the number of other things you can do, but at the end of the day, we really do think that there's a real multiplier effect. When you combine more data from more sources with more people who can use it, with that more fluid and open data, you can create more value.
As someone who's immersed in all of this day to day, if you could solve one of those many problems out there with the big data tools, what would it be?
Well, we've actually discovered that there are basically 3 related sectors in the economy that have not improved their productivity the same way the rest of the economy have. And so those are education, public sector, and healthcare. if you can go after productivity in those places, and productivity not just becoming more efficient, but also becoming more effective, increasing quality, then those are problems that I think it'd be terrific to be able to solve using data.
All right, well, good luck, and thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks very much.